Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Hally Ammons. School is back in session at Villanova University, and today we will be taking a behind-the-scenes look at the people and programs that make Villanova run. My guest today is Albert Motel, Waste and Recycling Manager at Villanova University. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Villanova is home to approximately 6,700 undergraduate students, 3,100 graduate and law students, and of course the faculty and staff that support that academic community. The campus contains residential and scientific, medical, dining, retail, and athletic facilities. I'm sure I missed some in that list. And like many universities, it's a small town within the town that it is located in. And waste management is a big job in any setting, of course. But at Villanova, there's much more to the role, much more to the job than just taking out the trash. So I'm excited to learn more about what you and your team are doing every day at Villanova. So again, thank you so much for joining me. So I'll start off by asking just about you. So how long have you been at Villanova and how long have you been in this role?
Sure. I joined Villanova in the summer of 2019, so just a few months prior to the COVID pandemic. And prior to that, I spent time managing hauling and collections operations for companies like Republic Services and Waste Management. I have about 20 years of experience in logistics and transportation management. About half of that, the second half of that, has been focused on waste collections. And working for Villanova University has been always something I never thought would happen. I'm glad to be a part of the community, and the community is very vibrant, and it provides a lot of wonderful opportunities to not just do my job by getting the waste out of Villanova, but also helping to educate, to promote waste reduction and sustainability.
And that's such a huge part of the job that I don't know that people realize, the education portion of it, the amount of communicating you're doing with the community and the students in particular. As I mentioned, Villanova, it's a big community. There's residential people, there's residents on campus, there's food service, medical, scientific facilities, all of those diverse services and buildings and facilities that are serving the students and staff and faculty. What is your approach, and how is such a large and diverse community managed effectively like this? Talk about a little bit about your team, how many folks there are, what kind of equipment you use.
Sure. It's a very great question. Villanova operates much like a small city or municipality. We have a very dynamic waste profile. Like you said, there are many different types of facilities generating many different types of waste. The big difference, though, is that it's bookended in mid-August and mid-May with student move in and move out. So the dynamics are very challenging at times. We need to do a lot of forecasting and data collection and education and outreach to make sure that things are moving smoothly. We have a team of about 11 employees, including myself, half of which are student interns that help to promote our zero waste initiatives on campus, as well as many other projects. The remaining staff are full-time staff members that work for our facilities management department, and they're responsible for collecting the waste from various buildings on campus. We have our own hauling department, so we have our own waste collection vehicles, and it affords us a really a unique edge on some of our peer universities and colleges, because we have a zone of control that organizations who rely on a third-party hauler do not have. So whether it be protecting the safety of our community members, capturing data, or being able to change our operations to improve sustainability, that stuff is within our control. So it's really a wonderful opportunity. As many challenges as it presents, it also provides so many great opportunities. We get to work with students who are shaping the world, and we have some very, very great minds and energized, exciting people, whether it be faculty, staff, or students, that are bought in, and we want to keep growing that.
So you brought up a couple of really interesting things that I want to touch on. But first, I want to ask about, can you talk a little bit more about zero waste and what Villanova, how they're leading in sustainability? I know that Radnor Township recently began their plastic bag ban in retail settings. Villanova was ahead of that by removing plastic bags and reusable bags from their retail operations. But if you talk a little bit more about what zero waste means and where Villanova is going in the future.
Certainly. So we have set a goal of achieving zero waste. We don't have a deadline yet. It's more about the pathway to zero waste. Obviously, there's a lot of behavioral changes that need to take place. It's almost like the old Smokey the Bear advertising campaign. Only you can prevent forest fires. Well, only you, and by that I mean the community members can help us achieve zero waste. It really depends on our upstream purchasing and consumption habits. So trying to get away from single-use items and purchasing more durable or repairable items, reusable items, kind of following the reduce, reuse, recycle mantra. Or if any of you have seen the waste pyramid, it's a hierarchy of best practices for waste disposal, with disposal being the almost least desirable. So that'd be landfilling, incineration, or any discharge to land, air, or water, which not only impacts our environment, but also people. And many times these disposal facilities are near communities who have financial or there may be other issues that put people at risk. Right. And sustainability is more than just taking care of the planet. There's also a social and economic piece to that. So we generate a lot of waste at Villanova, so we have a long ways to go. We generate probably about 15 million pounds of waste annually. Wow. And 2/3 of that is construction and demolition waste, which we do a really good job recycling that material. We have a great partner that is able to recycle most of that material, but that still leaves about 5 million pounds of other waste, which we try to divert as much as possible from landfill and incineration through many different recycling programs and reuse programs, surplus programs. But we still have a lot of opportunity to get better. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to talk a little bit about it and raise awareness. If we were to put it in perspective, we generate enough waste every month to fill Finneran Pavilion basketball court from the floor to the hoop or the rim of the net every single month. So hopefully that'll give a little visual.
That's a very stark image. Many people have been inside Finneran Pavilion. You can imagine a basketball arena. It's a big space
filled up with trash every month.
Wow, that is really
well.
remarkable.
I shouldn't say trash. I should say waste, because we try to divert, and we have many different specialty recycling programs. We're working on our organics waste program. We have some very interesting equipment we purchased, aerobic digester units in our dining hall kitchens to digest and process food waste, to recycle that.
Can I stop you there and just ask you to describe that a little bit? Is that like a giant garbage disposal, or like in your sink, or what does that look like?
Similar. It's more like a mechanical stomach. It is a mechanical device that also has an enzyme, a bacteria in it, similar to what we would have in our own stomachs, that digests the food so that it can be discharged through wastewater treatment. It doesn't need to be transported anywhere, so it immediately removes those emissions from hauling, the fuel consumption, the labor, the cost. And then it's processed downstream by wastewater treatment, where the materials are recycled. And we're also working on implementing a food waste composting program for our post-consumer food waste. That'll be a first at Villanova, and we're hoping to kick that off very soon. So please stay tuned for that.
Yeah, well, we'll do the part 2.
Yeah, for sure.
That's incredible. These are all things that are happening, like I said, behind the scenes, usually seamless in our lives. We're not noticing it, but it's a tremendous amount of work and imaginative thinking, I think, to bring these things to campus and be a part of the community. You talked a little bit about student interns who are part of your team. Can you talk a little bit more about the work they do, where they're coming from in terms of academics? What majors are typically your interns, and how are they impacting the work that you do? For sure.
So it's a relatively new program. We kicked it off sometime in 2022, created what we called our student recycling coordinator position, and it could be students from any degree degree course or degree track. We really we want just people who are engaged, students who are engaged that want to not only help us get to zero waste, but also gain some real experience that translates well to post-graduation employment. So they're doing a lot of project work, whether it be outreach, marketing, graphics design, implementation of our new programs, helping to carry out the execution of our new recycling programs, data collection, data analytics, website design, social media. It's really, we're trying to build a robust team. There are a lot of different components to a waste management program that people don't think of. You usually think about the garbage man or woman and their team who come by your house and pick up the waste weekly. There's a whole lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, especially if an organization is striving to be more sustainable. And we're always actively looking for more students, not just to join our team as an intern, but also there are volunteer roles. And quite frankly, taking back to the Smokey the Bear analogy, everybody has a role in this, whether they're students, faculty, staff, community members who are coming to visit. We can all contribute by reducing, reusing, and recycling as much as possible, rather than just throwing things in the trash.
Right. And that sort of leads back to the idea of this behavioral change that we all have to be intentional about. Do you feel, in terms of getting that message out, changing behaviors, how do you feel a university campus or university community, particularly undergrads, how are they receiving that message? Do you feel like that's an easier, a lighter lift in this sort of setting as opposed to somewhere else?
It can be. The roadblock or the obstacle that we have is really getting the messaging out to the students and letting them know that the opportunity exists. So, opportunities like this, I will jump on at every opportunity I get. So it's really about us just raising awareness, letting them know that Villanova cares, our staff cares, and we have these programs and we're developing more programs to improve, and they can be a part of it. And then our hope is to gain, to provide more education than just the coursework. Our campus is really a living lab. There's opportunities to do things that don't require traveling to another part of the world to impact change. And igniting change is our motto.
Right.
So it's really exciting. So despite all of the challenges of having to manage such a diverse and robust waste operation, it really provides us some great opportunities to create some change.
Oh, that's great. And, it impacts the community around us, too, obviously. We're not in a bubble. This translates to, being a good neighbors and a good, thriving institution within the municipality. I want to talk a little bit about Villanova's culture of service, which is, I feel like, one of a defining characteristic of the university. Students, faculty, staff engage in service in all kinds of ways, and even waste management in your department participates significantly in that culture of service, particularly around move out. Move out at the end of the semester is a big, busy time of year. It's when all of our resident students leave campus, typically not all on the same day, but within the same period of time. And students don't always take everything with them. And what you have done, and you stop me and clarify, is create a donation and collection program for students leaving, where they can donate clothing, home goods, office supplies, school supplies, all manner of items that have been lightly used and can be used again to donate out into the community. I've had the pleasure of volunteering a couple times. It's amazing to see the size of the operation. I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about how that came about, who benefits from those collections, how much you take in. I know it's a lot. I've only seen it a couple of days at a time, so definitely love to get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's wild. There's a lot of material, and thank you for your help and volunteering. It's wonderful. We have probably close to 100 volunteers that come out, mostly faculty and staff, because our students, of course, are leaving. But occasionally we have some grad students that are sticking around for the summer that will come to help out. And I can't take credit for starting the donation collection drive. It's been happening, before my time at Villanova, but I'm trying to enhance it and improve it and expand our charity outreach by partnering with more nonprofit organizations, more charity groups to help more people in need, and even animals in need. We even sent some materials to a local animal rescue, TLA Animal Rescue, some clothing or some bedding and cleaning supplies. This past May, we collected and distributed just over 16,000 pounds of material, and that's non-perishable food, clothing, housewares, bedding, medical supplies, books, really anything that still has a life. We want to try to keep out of a landfill and position it with people in need. And our material has helped local people, local charities, and also gone internationally. We've sent materials to a school in Poland to help Ukrainian refugee students, and that's for an organization called Powell's Children, which was founded by a Villanova School of Business employee.
I was just going to ask, how do you connect with an organization like that? Is it through the Villanova network?
It's mostly word of mouth. People see what we're doing and they want to take part, whether volunteering to help out or they know of organizations that are in need. And we're always soliciting for more information, more organizations that need material, because we're not keeping it all out of the trash, but we're trying to. And it's really a problem that not only Villanova faces, but it's really everywhere, all across universities and colleges, pretty much throughout the world. I mean, we're asking students to live on a campus for 9 months out of the year, so they have their belongings there, but they're accumulating all year long without thinking about what to do with it when it comes time to move out. And then they're told, you got to leave, you got to take it with you. So they're in a rush to pack up whatever they can fit into their car or a couple cars if they have them, and whatever is left over, it stays behind, and we're trying to keep that out of the trash. So we get in front of the students every way we can to promote this donation drive, and that's partly where the student interns come in play, because that peer-to-peer engagement seems to work very well.
The message, I think, when it comes from your peer is you receive it a little bit easier than when it's coming from adults or authority figures in some way. We
place donation bins throughout every residential building on campus and hype it up, and students are great. They participate, and there's some really good stuff that they leave behind, and we're able to make a lot of people happy. And I said we collected and distributed 16,000 pounds last year. And I have a cheat sheet here because I don't want to forget any of our charity partners, but we send material to Philadelphia Furniture Bank, Green Drop, Teachers Teammates, I'd mentioned TLC Animal Rescue, Sisters of St. Basil the Great, Villanova's Wildcat Wardrobe, and Villanova Center for Access, Success, and Achievement, or CASA. But also Northlight Community Center and Upper Marion Community Cupboard run food banks, which get most of the non-perishable food. So
it's just a reach that's really incredible in helping people locally, neighbors. I want to just touch on the Wildcat Wardrobe. And this is, I believe, run out of the Career Center. Is that correct?
It is, yes.
This is just sort of a side note, but I didn't know that our donations were benefiting that as well. And it's a great way for students who are embarking on internships or going out for job interviews to find professional clothing that they don't necessarily have to pay for. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, we have people in need within our own community, so it only makes sense to help them as well. And what I'd really like to see in the future is that we can expand upon this. We actually collect surplus items all year round and provide them to these organizations. So, if an office is being renovated and the furniture is no longer needed, we will try to collect it and donate it. But we really struggle for storage space. So I'm fighting to see if we can get some space to maybe house some of this material, and then even potentially store it until the start of the fall semester, so that we can provide items to first-year students or first-gen students who are in need, or not necessarily even first-year students. It could be grad students or any students. Because we do have people in need within our own community.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
No.
Finish that thought. It's incredible how the mission of Villanova, integrates into all of these areas. And I think when people hear waste and recycling management, they're not thinking that far beyond that. But it's amazing how the service and the donations and the collections benefit really so many points, from internally to externally to globally.
And it ties directly to our Augustinian values.
Exactly. It's really just in everything that the university does. We're close to our time, but I just wanted to end with, how are you looking forward? Where do you see Villanova in its sustainability plan 15, 25, 50 years from now? We talked about zero waste. What's the forward-looking prospect? Yeah,
so Villanova's sustainability plan has been around for a while, but it's evolving over time. Obviously, as we achieve goals or reach certain mile markers, we need to expand our reach a little bit and set new goals. But Villanova is really unique in that we've tailored or I guess tied our sustainability plan directly to the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. So it's not just set with environmental protection in mind, but also that social and economic component. So we have all 17 of the UN SDG goals, or Sustainable Development Goals, in our sustainability plan, and we've added an extra one, Goal 0 for sustainability in academics, where we're really trying to increase coursework and degree programs to align with sustainability so that we can plant the seeds that grow beyond Villanova's boundaries. And we have a sustainability studies minor and a sustainable engineering minor that are very popular. The sustainability studies is actually our most popular minor. So expanding upon that through the Institute, the Sustainability Institute, which is forming at Villanova, and incorporating all of our faculty, staff, and students into our sustainability work, it really kind of ties to that unitas component of our mission. So I can see us continuing to drive the bar to set more and more goals to get us to really truly be sustainable, and from my perspective, it hopefully achieve zero waste or get pretty close to it at some point. I think we can do it, and the more people we get involved, the more momentum we will get.
Oh, I'm very excited. This was incredibly educational for me. I learned a lot. I hope our viewers learned a lot. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm sure there will be a part 2, because there's so much more to talk about here. Thank you again to Albert Motel, Villanova's Waste and Recycling Manager. For more information on all of the great things happening at Villanova and for ways to get involved, please visit www.villanova.edu/neighbors.